Thank you for having me. Did you know that according to the reports by the Pew Research Center, 8.4% of the marriage are interracial compared to just 3.2% in 1980? Well, even though it's looked bad upon, you can clearly tell in those reports that it's increasing throughout the years. It was nearly over 20%, over 20 years, where more than half of the United States citizens married a person that's outside of their race. Yes, I understand that it causes conflict within families. Yes, I understand that a lot of the adults here, you guys do not accept interracial marriage because that you are afraid that your culture or your race will decrease in numbers. But I believe that if you believe, but I trust that if you believe in your son or your daughter marry a different race, and you think that you love them a lot, I'm pretty sure they will hold up to your standards and then continuing the tradition. I understand that many of you are opposed to interracial marriage, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you have a different opinion, and I'm not here to judge, but I'm here to tell you my side, and I believe that interracial marriage should be accepted. It should be accepted because first, there's no legal prohibition against the law about marrying another race. Two, benefits it benefits oneself to incorporate aspect of the culture. And three, it's important to have kids with different race and combine the racial. First, I want to start off with. There is no legal prohibition against the law about marrying a different race. Back in 1967, there was a man named Richard Lovey and his wife Mildred. Richard was black and his wife was white. Sorry, I said that wrong. Richard was white and his wife was black. They lived in Virginia, but they couldn't get married. And because they couldn't get married, they decided to go to Washington D.C., where interracial marriage was legal. They went to Washington D.C. to get married, and when they came back to Virginia, they got arrested for breaking the law. It was an interracial act that was written for Virginia, where interracial couples cannot get married. So to avoid getting arrested, Richard and Mildred decided to go to Washington D.C. away from their family, so they could just start a family for themselves, but away from their family. So Richard decided to go to court with that and to say, it's not against the law. It's not against the law to marry someone out of your race. They went to court, a regular court in Virginia, but that was they appealed, but didn't. No, wait, they took that court to the Supreme Court, and that Supreme Court said to them that it's unconstitutional. The laws that are separating two races from marrying each other is unconstitutional. So with that, Loving versus Virginia was accepted. And lucky for them, they were able to come back and live in Virginia. But sadly, Richard died. But that's beside the point. And then another reason why I think that it should be accepted in the community is because it benefits oneself to incorporate the aspects of a different culture. So Kristen is a author who wrote in a, who's a writer in Star Tribune. She interviewed Nancy Yang. Nancy Yang married a Swedish man, and at first the parents didn't agree. But you know that parents can't stop you from doing something that you love. But then they end up getting married, and 10 years later, they're talking about getting married. I'm sorry, they're talking about getting having kids and having babies. And she said, and I quote, "They'll be called our little Jewish babies." And that's saying that they're putting two different race, two different cultures together. Like a Jewish man and an Asian girl together will make one or two or even three babies that could be their Jewish babies. And like it's important to have it's important for kids to have like different aspects of a culture or a race to understand others. And with that, they'll have more knowledge, more wisdom among their friends and among their peers. Another reason why I think that it should be accepted is because it's also it's important to have kids with different and combined racial. Like I said before, it helps them understand and be more wise of different cultures and not judge. And also, Kevin Biney of the Stanford Graduate School of Business did a study on 182 students that are multicultural or multiracial. He reported that significantly less physiological. He reported that they have less of physiological stress compared to the peers or compared to another person that classify themselves as one race or one culture. And also they are also engaging in the same issue in school as other people. For example, me and my boyfriend, he is half white and half black. His dad is black, his mom is white. And I'm Asian, I'm Hmong, obviously. And like we perform like similarly. Like one of us might be smarter, but then in classes we didn't take classes together, but we took it at different times. He struggled in pre-calculus about learning I, and so did I. It was really something brand new to me. I didn't know it was a variable, or it could be a number, possibly. And he couldn't figure it out. And we also we both understood was chemistry. We were learning about eliminating chemicals on the line and like making sure that they're the same measurements. And we learned that, and it was really easy for us. Even though we are different cultures, we are different race, we function similarly. We engage in problems just the same, almost the same. So to conclude this, I believe I want to say interracial marriage should be accepted, because you shouldn't discriminate someone just from the color of their skin. They should be accepted in everything, every activity that they want to. They should be accepted in their families, because it's increasing in the United States. You can't change that fact. Yes, it might be conflicting in your heart. It might be conflicting inside your family, and I totally understand that. But in my opinion, I believe that it should be accepted. Thank you.
Whoa, 9 minutes.